else, but in this chaotic, stressful, strife-laden world that we live in, sometimes, I need a little escape, and probably so do you, and guess what? You're there. You've escaped and arrived to a little haven of normality and sanity in an otherwise out-of-control world. You can write in and thank us. Probably send us money if you're really feeling grateful, but, that would maybe just be more insanity. So we'll move on from here right now. We'll just leave you with that thought, and we'll talk about other happy things. Remember that.
Do you still do daily Chinese?
1,084 days consecutively.
So you should be able to at least pronounce along with it, yeah. Like some of those old musicals in which like a French actress sings all the lines in English and she doesn't know it.
Here's your test, RJ. You can get up Tina Teng's The Moon Represents My Heart, and I'm sure you will recognize the melody.
Well, I have it on rotation, so I've heard it maybe 5 or 10 times, yeah.
And then just pull up the lyrics. You can get them in pinyin.
But I have not taken 1,000 Chinese lessons, Skin.
Just see how it goes. Pinyin. Pinyin shows you how to pronounce it.
Totally ignoring the key fact in all this whole discussion, which is you're
a master, Skin.
You are a master at that.
You're a master too, just not at Chinese.
I know. At that language app that is designed for you to always feel you need to learn more. Those things are designed for you not to complete.
Should I really tell you my experience with that app?
Oh, no, because you've told it to us a million times. It has to do with Cantonese versus Mandarin.
No, I have not. That is not at all what it was, Mr. Smarty Pants. You got anything else you want to just preemptively tell me I'm going to say? I'm happy to play along if you want to do that.
What's your experience with the app there, PJ?
No, you know what it is? Duolingo is intended to have you play along, so it's encouraging, and it always
they don't want you to finish.
Yeah, and it always has a part where somebody reads a sentence to you in Chinese, and it's shown to you in Chinese.
Okay, in the pictograms or in the transliteration?
I think it's both. I'm sorry, I can't quite. I think it's both.
Yeah,
but you're invited to speak that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So then you speak it, and you do your best to imitate exactly what the spoken guy that did it did.
Right, and the English transliteration also shows the tonal stuff, whether to raise or whether to drop.
Yeah, except for honestly, I'm terrible at reading those. It is in the pinyin, but I really suck at reading. Anyway, the point is, I read it, and it goes ping, and then at the end it says, you spoke like a king. You did 3 spoken things. It just really praises you.
Wow.
Then I will go to Google Translate.
Yes.
And I'll carefully re-say that sentence as accurately as possible to Google Translate, and it has no freaking idea what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or if I try it with the guys at dance, even the simplest thing.
Like I thought Google Translate didn't have Cantonese.
I'm not talking about Cantonese, am I?
Mandarin, that's right. Okay, sorry, yeah.
Should say so.
So you say it in Mandarin to Google Translate, and it doesn't have a clue what you're saying.
And then I go to the guys at dance who speak Mandarin.
Uh-huh.
And I'll say, well, I recognized something in a Chinese film I was watching today. The guy said, wabuchi dao.
Mm-hmm.
And they just look at me.
Well, the way you said that, the ow dropped.
I sure
and that's
it did.
Because in English, when you speak, it should drop because it's the end of the sentence.
Sure did. And the point is, you would hope that Duolingo would correct me if it's not supposed to drop.
Because I remember in class, the teacher would say, the way you say this is yeah. And I'm making that up, by the way. She'd pick on a student, the student would go, yeah.
Oh, I know.
No.
You've told us this a million times, Rich.
Yeah.
Again and again.
You guys, this is... I'm going to have to put on
I just find it funny.
Gear.
Anyway, Skin is an expert of intonation. I've discerned that now.
No, the point is I'm not. And Google or Duolingo just doesn't correct you.
Doesn't care.
It doesn't care.
Because they actually don't care if you learn or not.
Oh, they absolutely. In fact, if you don't, so much the better.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's kind of too bad. Like wabuchi dao, if you pronounce it properly, can mean I don't know. And if you pronounce it properly but differently, it can also mean I can't find it or I am busy. Something not busy, but it's like traffic.
Something different.
Yeah, something completely different.
Yeah.
I can't tell. And the guys that I say stuff to at dance, unless I give them context, they can't figure out what I said. So Duolingo is trash. The end.
Yes.
Hey, I've got $1 million idea.
I'm very excited about this.
I put it in I sent you the picture.
We've seen a great picture. Yes.
Fantastic picture. I got to dance. It's a house with a rainbow coming right up behind it. Brilliant rainbow.
And an excellent rainbow it is.
Yeah. And I thought, you know what? if that house was for sale, I'd call up the realtor and say, you want to buy a great picture of this house for your site? So the idea is, ready? Collect a ton of pictures like this.
Yes.
A whole million of them. And when you see a listing go up that you know you've got in your database,
Yep.
Nice.
phone the guy up and say,
I like this idea
I got a picture
already.
It'll hit it out of the park. Imagine, like, you don't get a picture with the rainbow coming out of the roof very often. Downside of this whole thing, of course, two things. One is you got to keep a pretty accurate track of what you got pictures of, and you got to keep it current. And the other is, it can't just be a picture of the house on a nice day, because any realtor idiot can get that. It has to have a rainbow or really threatening clouds or a plane plummeting in flames out of the sky. Something. It's got to have something that the guy can't get himself. That's the biggest drawback.
Nice. I'm envisioning a beautiful sunset behind the house or sunrise.
Yeah, and I could get those at that location. I got a million sunset pictures from that school.
Well, with the rainbow, you just could see the rainbow and then just go house to house and just line it up behind this house and this house.
Yeah,
That's true. I was thinking that too.
Excellent thought. Excellent thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, I was so excited. I thought, I should just do this myself. Never mind throwing it out to the universe and collecting 10%. I should just do it myself.
Oh, right.
It could go right with the one that I'm building. I'm going to start a consultancy on when to apply and when, not in a billion years, to apply artificial turf. I got a collection of pictures of beautiful applications of artificial turf, or at least not, I'm going to set that guy's house on fire offensive.
So you're saying when, not how necessarily.
What do you mean?
Well, you said when to apply artificial turf.
Yeah, like I think there are situations when artificial turf is an appropriate response for your landscaping needs.
Right. In which situations?
If you've got, say, a boulevard in front of your house, it's the easement.
Yeah.
And it's just trash. It's just weeds and packed dirt. And if you went out there and slaved your brains out and planted grass and tended to it daily, it would be weeds and packed dirt in about 2 weeks, just because people don't walk on the sidewalk. Depending on where you are, if people are crossing streets, if it's a high traffic area, you can't help it if you live on Lonsdale and there's 1,000 people walk by every day.
Yeah.
So in a case like that, if you get somebody to professionally install artificial turf, at a casual glance, it looks sort of convincing, and it looks way better than just weeds and dirt. But I got a bunch of other pictures where people really, like, come on, man. Just because you're using artificial turf doesn't mean you get to mail in every last shred of your ability to discern what's attractive and what isn't. One near the house that you and Sue first moved into, like somebody clearly just threw artificial turf all over a bunch of construction material and lumps and rocks. It's just all lumpy, and it's just hidden with a layer of super cheap artificial turf. It doesn't look remotely anything.
Yeah. It looks like ridiculously cheap green carpet.
And it's not even smooth in that case.
Yeah.
Usually, though, it is the case where it looks like really badly cheap. Or when you do it and you have flagstones leading to your front door. And I've seen people put artificial turf right around the flagstones and on the rest of the yard, and it looks horrible. Like, just grow the grass, or just put all artificial. Don't have those flagstones in the middle of there. It just highlights the artificialness.
Yeah.
So anyway, that'll be a future.
That's another episode.
It's a whole project. I think people could make money doing that.
Yeah.
Consult. Because you got to get away from big carpet. You can't just be somebody who sells carpet.
No. And is there turf that's longer blades?
I'm sure there are.
It's kind of hard to manufacture and keep it looking good, probably.
I'm sure
they tend
there
to
is.
be fairly crops close, right?
Well, there's the one that just looks like indoor-outdoor carpet.
Yeah,
There's
that's the worst.
That's the sort of baseline.
With the sort of green you see if you have a photograph and you dial the color way up. That kind of green.
Sort of radioactive. There are longer ones, though. There are some that look pretty convincing. And to be serious, just for half a second, I haven't really paid enough attention to, of the applications I thought were sort of bearable, where you kind of, I see what they're doing there, and it kind of makes sense, and it would look worse. I haven't paid a lot of attention to whether it looks like they spent money on good carpet or not, assuming good means longer blades of grass.
Good, yeah, good.
I haven't thought much about that.
AstroTurf.
Anyway, all you listeners out there, I'm sure you're going to have input that you want to provide about the unbelievably satisfactory results you've gotten using artificial turf and how resentful you are of my negative remarks around it. So just let me know.
And also your moneymaker about the...
Oh, yeah.
real estate industry.
Flattering house pictures for real
Yes,
estate.
yes.
I think, but like I say, the nasty trick is having something special that any realtor just couldn't get for themselves.
And PJ, I'm pretty sure you'll know about this, but KJ, have I told you? I probably have told you about I don't know if it's money making so much as a fun project to do about architects' visions.
Go on.
Architects' visions. What I'd like to do is just have and this is quite doable. Of course,
I think
there's
this is an awesome
there's labor
idea.
involved, but it would be really fun to do. And this is looking at architects' visions from various projects. We could limit it to Vancouver, and then how they look today.
Ah,
I love this idea.
Yeah.
You have mentioned it before, and I think it's an awesome idea.
Because it's very rare when you go into a space and you go, I cannot believe how lively and perfect this whole space is.
How sleek.
Because usually there's the architect's vision that was done before the project, and then there's the reality. The guy's doing crack in the corner, the grass that it hasn't been mowed or weeded.
It's like those World War II pictures where they show a street in some French town with a couple of dead guys in it from World War II. And then somebody goes today and takes a picture from the exact same vantage point of that exact same street. So you can see if the buildings have changed and which ones are. So do the same thing with those architects.
Yeah.
The drawing is done from some
You have
vantage
to find
point.
where, having a drone would help
Yes.
because a lot of them are kind of like a vision
Yes.
from above. But I think it would not just have the benefit of being kind of fun because maybe you'd try and make the text a little bit humorous. I think it would also kind of shame the cities a little bit because the architect's vision is possible, maybe, but there's something missing. Like what caused it not to meet the vision? And it almost never does, right?
Yeah,
So, clarify here, if you would. You're talking about the entrance is open and grand, and there's trees here and that, but in the new version, there's guys on crack in the corner. Or are you talking about actual architecture changes that?
No, that's a good question. No, I'm talking about they have a vision. The vision involves everyone using the seats that have been set out. Lovely young families walking through
Oh,
the
yes, yes.
scene.
Oh, okay.
And just a general community feel that is super rare to actually ever occur.
Yeah, it's the fantasy version of.
Yeah, they usually stop just short of showing a string orchestra practicing over
Right,
on the side.
Right,
there, you know?
right.
Just short, though. That probably gets turned down by an on-the-job boss.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of these places are still good places, right?
Yes.
Like we walk down Central Boulevard, SkyTrain route, and Metrotown Mall, and it does have a nice strip of green, and there's a nice walking space. People cycling or walking by are smiling sometimes. It's not a depressing scene there. But, we go to a certain area, and they actually plunked foosball tables down there, and they put plexiglass over the top so the balls wouldn't get stolen. And the things are just dilapidated and rough.
Oh,
and
wow.
it's only like a year or two after they put them in, right? So, but that's maybe not so much the architect's vision as the city designers, but the whole idea, like what you want to occur and what actually occurs are two different things.
Well, even the proportions of stuff in those architects' drawings, like I'm sure they could do a completely proportional, like if a piece of trim on the side of a building is in reality is a foot wide in concrete and it runs down the whole front.
Right.
I'm quite sure you could make that architect's drawing show that foot wide strip of concrete as being a foot wide in relation to all the other dimensions in the drawing. But I don't think those drawings, I don't think they take care to make them proportional.
Like the final builder's decisions or the sub-designers' decisions about what can we afford to put for trim and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're part of like making it a little bit less beautiful than the architect envisioned.
Which opens you up to considering whether the architects are highly cynical and they do a drawing knowing 1,000% either A, it cannot be, or B, it will not be built this way because the cost would be astronomical.
Yeah.
So it cannot really in reality ever look like this drawing. But I got 5 tassels on these shoes and those guys and city council are paying for this public building, they're going to fall all over themselves to approve that.
Yeah, like you got the architectural firm, and they have real live architects, but they also have the artists.
Yeah.
Right, and they're big enough. They got the money, and they pour that money in. And this is, well, they're competing sometimes too, right?
Yes.
So you want that presentation that really looks great, and you know in your heart that if they have enough money, they can probably come close to meeting that vision. But in the reality, there's only so much money budgeted, right?
Yes. Put another way, there is for sure a rock solid, absolutely defensible reason for those drawings to not look like that doesn't cast the architects in a bad light. You know,
Largely, it's not the architect's fault.
well, there you go. So it's working.
Largely, right? Because it's the implementers, right?
Yeah. But I think that would be a really fun project. And if you could go that next step and begin to talk about why they're different, like specifically why they're different, that would be great.
Yeah, maybe I'll start late summer after the big
After you get
foosball
back
tournament's done, and I'll dial back the foosball and dial up this little project.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
I can't honestly say that I will for certain be dialing up my fake grass project. It's been cooking since 2015, I think.
well, I mean, I could add a little page on the side there. PJ's fake grass.
Well, I'll take pictures in the future because there's a nice one on the boulevard up here, boulevard and into the yard. And of course, the neighbor is all
Yeah.
fake grass.
Well, and I'd like-
and they maintain it.
And it looks good.
It looks fine. Well, it's better than a giant mud pit.
Well, there you go. Like there's always
right.
there's
At
always
BC
this
Place.
thing about just a glance. Like maybe there's got to be some way to quantify what a glance really is, right?
It looks nice when we walk past
Yeah,
it, right? Because
yes,
I
it
remember
does.
when he was working on it, and I glance at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you stop and look, then why are we conditioned to go, oh, it's fake grass? Because that's my response. I'm a little crestfallen all the
I
time.
don't know, not me.
fake grass.
Not me.
But at a glance, it doesn't offend you, and that's to me that's the acid test is
Well, I think of the labor saving that it does, man.
1,000. I mean the amount of water and fertilizer and pesticide that goes into the water system after, and all the ridiculous waste of energy and resources to have lawns that do nothing. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not even particularly efficient oxygen generators. You know what I mean? Just for what? Because back in 1800, somebody thought it would be cool if middle-class people could pretend they were land-owning barons and have a kept yard in the front.
Yeah, like the
Really?
Yeah, I think you probably see grass in pictures of British estates, right?
Yeah.
Back in maybe the
Yeah.
1800s sometime.
Yeah.
And I think I read once that the lawns really took off in 1940s or 1950s.
Oh, I thought it was
It was
earlier,
like the end of the Second World War, and it was this beautiful suburban thing.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but it might have been Scott's Corp or, one of those fertilizer companies might have really given it the push
Yeah.
it needed, but I'm not
Sure,
sure.
you can bet on that.
But they're just a profound waste of everything, really. The gas to mow them, the money to buy a mower and the gas to go in it, the
Yeah.
time, the effort, the waste that you got to get rid of. It's just,
There's probably a payback period for the turf manufacturing costs, but it's probably pretty short.
yeah. It's just,
All right. Well, okay. So,
I don't know where that all came from or went to.
lawns and architects' visions.
Money making ideas.
And
Money-making
Money-making
ideas. There we go.
Because you're full of them, Skin.
Well, so far not full of money, though.
Ah.
So I'm full of ideas, but the proof and the pudding are long gone. you know.
Okay. Well, listeners, I don't know if you've ever heard of vibe coding.
I haven't.
Coding being, like what we call programming these days. And vibe coding is a term that was invented in February of this year. So it's, fairly new.
Oh, geez. Wait a sec. Hold it. So it's not nautical in origin, coined in the 1600s,
Not at all. No.
and not coming out of the 1850s newspaper boom either. What the hell?
I know, it's pretty weird. And the concept has been around for quite a while. I think one guy who really popularized it in February, I think an employee of OpenAI, the guys that bring you Chat GPT, I think. The whole idea with vibe coding is that you sit down with Chat GPT and you tell it you want to program in a certain programming language, and what you're trying to accomplish is X. And it gives you some code. That's the whole idea. Like it.
So you can just say, I'm trying to write a COBOL routine that'll do this, that, or the other.
Yes.
And it'll produce some chunk that sort of comes somewhere into the ballpark of doing that?
Yes, it would. I wouldn't mind trying that because it requires, both a person who's in their 70s, because that's about the only person
Not in my 70s,
who
just
wants,
for the record.
Yeah, who 60s or 70s, who wants to code in COBOL, or actually some young person who's working at an old, crusty old mainframe shop.
Well, yeah, like any bank or any insurance company.
Yeah, good.
Say.
That's fair. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's it. You just say, I want to, program in a certain language, and can you give me? And here's what I want to do. Here's what I want the code to do. So I had a chance to actually do it, to try it out, because I'd read about it, and I play around on my Mac with automating certain things. Just a hobby of mine. So I use a couple languages.
They call him Mr. Macro.
Okay, so I log on to ChatGPT and I say, and I want an Apple script to accomplish a certain thing. Apple script's a programming language that works at a high level, so it could say open a menu, or it could open an application, and it could have the application do certain things, like maybe open a file, and maybe if it was GarageBand, it could say add 3 tracks, and it would add 3 tracks. You can actually program all that stuff.
That's cool.
If it's something that you do on a regular basis. So I asked ChatGPT, and this is literally what I said: write an Apple script for the music app to determine if the current music track is in a playlist called rotation.
Oh, I did look at this and I did not understand what was going on. Okay, now I'm with you.
Yeah,
okay.
because I have a playlist called Rotation. It's just the music I keep listening to over and over.
And you don't want to add dupes?
And yeah, that's it. That's true. Yeah. Just see if this list is in rotation. So ChatGPT replies, here's an Apple script that checks whether the currently playing track in the music app is part of a playlist called Rotation. It puts rotation in quote marks. And it gives me a whole bunch of code. And then it gives me notes. It gives me real context that allows me to work with this code. It says this script checks the current track's name, artist, and album for a match within the rotation playlist. If the playlist doesn't exist, you'll get a dialogue saying so. And it goes on and it gives me more and more context. It says, let me know if you want it modified to check using persistent IDs, more accurate but more complex, or to run without displaying dialogues.
But my thought there would be, again, to interrupt now, that more complex, what do I care? You're doing the work.
That's what I think too, because it says that. And I say to it, the result should be a text string with yes or no, and do not check for errors. I actually didn't read all its reply to me. I just looked at the code and I'm going, I just want a yes or a no coming out of this routine, and I don't care if there's errors, right? So anyway, ChatGPT says back to me, got it. Here's a simplified Apple script that assumes the rotation playlist exists, assumes there's a currently playing track,
just great.
Returns yes if the track is in the rotation playlist and no otherwise. And it does not check for or handle errors. So it's totally listening. It's giving me what I'm asking for.
Well, and I feel like we're sliding into an educational tool here. Like you could get people who are trying to understand, I don't know, concepts of coding, say, to go through this kind of exercise and be told, here's all the stuff you didn't consider. You didn't consider what happens if there's an error. You didn't consider all the things that it now told you that it's not going to worry about because you just wanted a simple yes, no.
It's
those are informational things for somebody who's learned. Jeez.
So it goes ahead and gives me the code.
That's cool.
Basically setting a few variables and then doing a loop just to see if it can find that track. It loops through every single track in rotation until it finds a hit. And if it doesn't find a hit, it tells you, no, I didn't find it.
That's cool.
It's very cool. And then it gives me a section on how to use it. I can run it. It tells me how to run it, because that's one of the biggest barriers to this technology is the basics of how do I run a program? How do I look at its output? How do I actually apply it in the real world? That kind of stuff.
The 40-year-old analogy is, how do I compile it? I can write code,
yes,
but I can't execute it because I couldn't figure out how to compile it.
So it still seems to be a little bit annoyed that I've kind of not answered its question. So it says, let me know if you want to match by persistent ID instead, which is more reliable than comparing name, artist, album.
So then you're hoping for a version that allows you to say, please give me these, that, and the other, and be slightly abusive in your answers.
So I ignore its question one more time. I go, great. And this time do it for the selected track, not for the currently playing track. When I originally asked the question, I wanted to know which track was selected, and it answered it for what track is playing.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. When you do vibe coding or anytime you're using ChatGPT, you got to kind of, it's not perfect, right? You got to kind of keep an eye on how it's answering, what it's answering, and just steer it towards the right thing.
I wonder
So
if
it replies, sure. Here's the updated Apple script that checks whether the selected track, and it bolds selected track, right? I understand you.
I heard you, nitwit.
In the music app is part of the rotation playlist, returning yes or no accordingly. Gives me that code. Notes, this assumes you have one or more tracks selected in music. So it's still remembering that I don't want error checking. So it's telling me, hey, by the way, I'm just assuming that somebody selected something, right? Anyway, and then let me know if you'd like it to handle multiple selected tracks or use persistent IDs for more precise matching. Now, I'm worried that it's not very efficient because it loops through every single track. How long does that take? It's a long playlist. So I say, is there a way to do it without a loop? It says, yes, you can avoid a manual loop by using, and then it gives me the code and how this works, and it gives me caveats. And I'm just not going to go into all that detail.
What does it do? Build an array or something? No, never mind. Strike that.
Once again, it asks me, would you like a version that compares persistent IDs, more reliable than metadata? It's just like, it's good. And I answer it, yes. I don't say, oh, sorry, I haven't answered that.
And does it come back and say, great? Like all excited.
Exactly what it says.
That's exactly it. It says, great. Here's the persistent ID version that avoids looping and uses precise matching. And why this is better. And it just lists. Let me know if you want it to support multiple selections, because I never answered that. Anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Because the next one would be how many?
So I take that code and I run it. Now I've got the code that I want. So I take it and I run it, and it works only if the track is found, but it actually has an error if the track's not found. So I said, this works for the yes condition, but for no, it has an execution error beginning with, and I give it the first 8 or so words of the error message.
Yeah.
And it says, thanks for pointing that out, and you're right. In AppleScript, when a blah, 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 it explains why there is an error. To fix this cleanly, we can use A, and it explains what it's going to do, gives me the new code. And then, so now I say, I realize just now I haven't thanked you for this. It works just great. Does it actually matter that I haven't thanked you? I ask it. And here's its answer. It does matter. Not for me personally, but for you and your experience.
Oh, I saw this. Yeah, it was a great answer.
Expressing appreciation is a way of recognizing that something has been helpful or meaningful to you, and that can shape how you feel about the interaction. It helps close the loop on a task, reinforces positive engagement, and in human contexts, it fosters connection. Here, though, I don't need thanks, but I'm glad the script worked well for you, and I appreciate you taking the time to say so. If you have anything else you'd like to build or improve, I'm here to help.
That is so cute.
It's interesting that it uses an emotional term like I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly.
That is interesting.
It's kind of like when Spock talks, there's the...
Yeah, I'm going to just manipulate you just a little bit here, just a little tickle. It's also interesting that I couldn't figure out listening to that whether it was aware that it had left an error in place and that was a result of what you asked it to do, or whether it actually just made a mistake. Like if the no condition just causes it to bomb, did it know that was what it was doing?
I'm pretty sure it just made a mistake. It does probabilistic stuff. It reads existing code, and people do make mistakes in existing code. I mean, what did I used to do before ChatGPT? I used to Google what I'm trying to do, and then I'd find someone who's trying to do something similar.
Oh, really?
Occasionally I'd find someone who's trying to do the exact same thing, but that's not common. It's usually you're just lucky you find something similar.
Yeah.
And that this code is universally known. AppleScript is known to be not a great language. It's not the kind of thing where you can remember, oh yeah, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Like COBOL's very rememberable, add X to Y.
Yeah.
And it will give you, Y will become X higher than it used to be.
Well, in defense of your and possibly also ChatGPT's method, all the real world coding I pretty much ever did was take something that was kind of close to what I really needed to do and modify it.
That's what you do. Yeah. I mean, some people write things from scratch if they're really, they really know the code.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that anyway, that's normally what you do. But I'd always find errors in it. I'd take their code and run it. Usually I'd modify it to my needs and there'd be errors. So anyway, that's the reason that ChatGPT comes up with errors in its code. And it has been trained that anytime you tell it it's wrong, it always agrees with you because it's trained to be agreeable.
Another little tickle.
And if you mistakenly tell it it's wrong, it'll still say, you're right. I didn't think of whatever you said. It'll kind of repeat your words.
Well, it's like
it might do a new version of the code that still works, but didn't kind of do it the way it did it before.
Well, it's like that clip in episode 198 where you ask ChatGPT, how long do I have to listen before I decide whether I'm going to keep going?
Yeah.
And it starts telling you what was it? Emilia Perez? Is that the name of the movie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the movie. Yeah.
What it's all about and everything. And you interrupted and said, I don't think you really know what you're talking about. And it immediately agreeably said, you're right. I think I might have missed it there. Whereas the real person would have said something else possibly.
Because of that habit of it agreeing with you and wanting to be nice, basically, it's a little bit of a trend right now where people who are lonely are talking to it, right? Talking to bots. And
I think that's quite a trend. I just saw somebody I follow on the socials, the shiz, or whatever it is this week. Whatever it is, yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to just, pretty soon, it's just going to be, they use ChatGPT to create, like this person is pushing more dialogue about things like ADHD.
Yes.
And about autism. Mm-hmm. And it wants people to feel safer talking about it to somebody or something. So they created a ChatGPT thing that has a conversation. And I'm sure that conversation has goals like get professional help. Don't feel bad about getting professional help. Don't feel bad about yourself.
Yeah,
it's all built into it.
Yeah.
But the whole intent of it is to allow somebody to not have to be worried that they're dealing with a person. And I think that also colors the other experience you just mentioned where people are wanting to talk to ChatGPT because it's never mean to them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're right.
I can see
Hitler
that.
did have many redeeming qualities.
I can see that. When I'm learning something, I often don't want to be observed learning it. And I don't want people to be saying, I'm always fearful of didn't you hear what I said? That kind of thing, because it takes me a while to learn certain things. And I don't want the person to get frustrated or anything.
They should use it in gaming. I never want to go on those shared gaming sites because you go in there and there's a bunch of people who are just super experts in that game, typically shooters, and you just get killed instantly because you don't know how to play. And your little brain imagines them laughing at you. Rookie. So play with ChatGPT so not get killed so easily.
Yeah.
Are people using it for therapy?
I think so, yeah.
Yes, they are. Self-using. Like, I don't think psychologists are prescribing it, although I could be wrong. Yeah. But I think a lot of people are.
Yeah, and it'd be fun to find out what the psychologists actually think of it.
Because a lot of the analytic method is to, ask more questions, draw things out. How did that make you feel, of course, is the classic. Yeah. And the whole idea is to because anytime you learn something yourself, you come up with it yourself. That's really good. Like lots of things I've in air quotes discovered are things that people have told me 18 times.
Yeah.
And then suddenly I see a situation, I come, you know what I think? And it's actually something I've been told a million times, but it's my idea. And that's a learning experience. That's suddenly when something locks in.
Yeah.
And it's the whole loneliness factor too, right? That I'm sure, why wouldn't people use it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again,
Absolutely.
Non-threatening. Yeah. You're not going to go to somebody because you are lonely and have them cruelly reject you and maybe mock you into the process, Yeah, I don't know whether it's really healthy or not, but I bet you it's a thing for sure.
One other angle on that thanking or being nice to the bot is I think in some ways they probably have analytics at the back end that kind of give you information on how positive the experience has been for people. So in a sense, if you really thank the bot and compliment it, I think that gets back to the people who actually did all the programming to create these bots. It's just what % of final statements have been positive versus negative
Yeah.
is a good measure of how well are you doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just, my hesitation here isn't that I disagree. I think that's probably really true. You just sort of think there must be a million cases where there are no final statements. There must be another million where people just are careless. I don't think you know what you're talking about. Boom, gone. Is that good or bad? I don't even know.
So I was chatting with a guy about this at in Ottawa, and he said, yeah, pretty soon they won't need programmers.
Well, I was wondering about that in that conversation too, the exact same thing. How long till ChatGTP takes it upon itself to write code to come up with data or information to answer some query from somebody? And then, the next step and the next step and the next step. I mean, it can whip up code like nobody's business to answer increasingly complex problems.
Yeah, that's the bit. The increasingly complex problems. My theory is that it will not cause any kind of a decrease in programmers at all. What it'll do is their productivity will jump up into hyper mode. They get really good at knowing how do you ask questions.
Yeah.
In what way can you pose these questions and quickly get to the answer?
Which is kind of fun.
Because when I was young, I remember a young programmer, I remember being told that I used a language, it wasn't called Mark IV, but it was similar. It was a popular new language where all you had to do was do check marks. I want totals by company, and I want subtotals by account, and the number that I am totaling is going to be this number. And it was all just, you didn't have to actually program.
It was one of those reporting things.
It was telling what you want, not how you want to do it. And I remember the marketing material specifically said you can get your secretary to do this.
Yes, I worked with some of those same things probably at the same time and place.
It didn't work.
Yeah.
And every single program language, as it got higher and higher levels of, I liked a language called Ideal. It was really easy to program. All it meant was you could do more in less time.
Yes, but you still had to know what you were doing.
You still had to know what you're doing. And like that Apple script, for example, you still have to know how do you get it to run, how do you invoke it?
And yet, it's hard not to think about the analogy with the watch. So 100 years ago, if you had a watch in your wrist, 1,000 people were wearing a watch. 950 of them had a really sound, clear idea of exactly how that watch worked. How did it arrive at the time going? Well, there's a lot of gears, specific ratios, yada, yada. They really knew. Or 80 years ago, a lot of people had a pretty fair idea of how television worked. It does this with these beams and it scans back and forth and it excites those phosphors, and they kind of had an idea. Well, now you fast forward to now. If there's 1,000 people wearing watches, I doubt there's 2 of them that have a really concrete idea how on earth the watch actually works. It's quartz crystal. What does that even mean? I don't know. TV, same thing. Coding, same thing. Now, God knows how they write code. I just asked ChatGTP, and I got to be careful to know what I'm asking. But what it does back in behind there beats the hell out of me. I don't know. I took a course for 4 years to learn how to talk to ChatGTP, not to write what it writes. Kind of wonder about that.
Yeah.
Oh, and of course, you did this all with a keyboard, or did you? Or did you actually do it out loud?
I did it all to a keyboard.
Yeah, and
because then I don't have to worry about that translation.
Sure, I went upstairs in the last week, and Lucy was
you can
talking and getting answers like as if it sounded like she was talking to somebody on a speakerphone, like her mom, I thought. But
did she have a great big huge fake face over the top of her monitor?
If you want to play with it, just download from the App Store or the Play Store, whichever one you use, Gemini AI. And just turn on your phone and just start talking to it. Yep.
Nice.
That's pretty fun. Way to go, RJ. That was a fun one. I don't know where it all leads. It's a lot better than so many other things we could think about in this chaotic world.
Well, I'm trying it real soon. I'm going to start chatting with somebody because I'm lonely here in the shed.
Yeah.
What about
talk to it?
Jeez, he's right there. Come on.
Talk to it about your thoughts on the latest panel discussion in MSNBC.
Oh yeah. Or I could ask it questions about how to talk to Buddy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sitting here alone. What would you suggest?
I wonder what would happen if you got with ChatGTP and said, Given the United States situation in the fall of democracy, do you think there'll be blood before it's over? And then tick, 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 and doors kicked in, SWAT teams coming in.
yeah.
How long?
Yeah,
till-
that's right.
I wonder.
Okay.
What fun.
Good. Do you want to do snappers?
Did we do incommode last time?
No.
No.
Really?
Nope.
So let's just do the two snappers. Incommode is the first one.
Okay, this is wild. First of all, for me, I only have a inaccurate grasp of what a commode is.
Well, as far as I know, a commode is what you have beside your bed so you can sit and pee.
Yeah.
Oh, so that's the origin of it.
Well,
That's what commode means, but the question is whether incommode is even slightly related to the commode.
Oh,
that
you're
you
not
pee
letting
into.
me think. Yeah, okay. So, because sometimes people say, I got to go use the commode, but they actually mean use the toilet. So the meaning of commode shifts over the years, but the original meaning is
Yeah. what's
sitting beside the bed. KJ, what's up to you?
But wait, before he checks,
Is that?
I got to take a guess. I got to take a guess.
We
'Cause-
were leaving meaning now? Or?
No, I want to take a guess at meaning.
Oh, okay.
And I don't think it means rather than peeing in a porcelain bowl beside the bed, you pee in a porcelain bowl in a separate room.
You got to use the commode? You've never heard that?
Yes, but I think incommode probably just is a synonym for inconvenience. Like put you out. I'm going to have to ask you to give up this hotel room, and I'm sorry to incommode you in this way, but I can give you another room on the 5th floor. Something. That's what I think it means.
Oh, I see. I was still back on what commode means. So yeah, because have you ever heard commode used to mean like
A place to live
sink,
or stay?
a sink area?
No, I don't think so.
All right. So you're saying incommode is inconvenience, perhaps?
Yeah, and I guess I would go ahead and further guess inconvenience in terms of your habitat. Like where you are staying and sleeping, you are going to be disturbed somehow.
Yeah, and the only other thing that flashed into my mind that's almost certainly nothing to do with it was in conference. But that's
does
the only
that even
that's
mean?
the only what's that?
What does that mean? One word in conference?
No. In conference with a number of people out. But that's only because COMM community. But that's not going to be it, I don't think.
All right.
Well, Skinny, right on the money.
He's got it.
Oh yeah.
Inconvenience.
Okay.
The innkeeper tried to hide how much the request incommoded them.
Oh, okay.
Really?
So it isn't habitat related. It's not where you're staying or sleeping. None of
But
that.
I think it was pretty inconvenient to have to squat over a commode. Do you think that there's a little bit of that there?
You're incommoded by having to use a commode.
That's good, Rich.
Nice.
I'm just gonna do commode and see if a low chest of drawers.
Oh, I might have heard of that.
That's the commode that I was thinking of with the sink.
Yeah. A box-like structure holding a chamber pot. So the commode is actually
It's the platform that the pot's installed in.
the cabinet, right?
Right. Yes, it'll be over in the commode, dear.
Well, so like if it's a chest of drawers with the bowl in the top, is that where you wash your face in the morning? I mean, I'm having a problem here.
Well, the bowl and top, I think that was me. I think commode could just be a chest of
A low chest of drawers.
Yeah.
Okay.
A movable washstand with a cupboard underneath.
Washstand with a cupboard underneath. There you go. Attaboy, RJ. So a movable washstand is called a commode, and the porcelain pot that you relieve yourself into in the middle of the night is also called
We're
a commode.
saying that.
No,
KJ
not the porcelain pot. The structure around the porcelain pot that you actually sit on. The porcelain pot is underneath it.
Okay.
There you go.
Phew. Thank heaven.
That was close.
Glad we got that cleared up.
Yeah, and it's kind of inconvenient to have to get up in the middle of the night.
Well, and
the whole-
splashing urine in your face, man, your
I had-
eyes sting.
I had read once that people slept better in the old days because they could just get up and go.
Yeah,
They didn't have to walk through the house, flip some light switches on,
it could be
do a
true.
bunch of stuff, and then walk all the way back and trying to be quiet.
Could be true.
Yeah.
I mean, intuitively makes sense.
Okay, good. Well done. You're both right. Next one is bupkis. Bupkis.
Yes.
What's that?
I've heard that occasionally to mean zero
Yep.
and a little bit of a disappointed zero.
Nice.
How many people think, or how much value did I get out of it? Bupkis. It's kind of
There's
like
an attitude behind
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And it's always sounded Yiddish to me.
It's always, that's what I thought as well. This is Yiddish.
Well done. Borrowed prior to 1931 from Yiddish Bobkies.
So it's those comedians.
Comedians will bring it up.
Yeah.
You know, the Jewish comedians in the
yeah.
Catskills. That's where it started for us.
Yeah, even us shiksas can say it.
Attaboy, RJ. Nice.
Okay, moving on now.
Okay.
To more exciting. I have so much. So we're going to do a show and tell right now.
Oh, good.
TV waiting for us. Skin.
Oh, good. It's
You'll
all
have
lined
to.
up.
You can listen to most of it, but it's only about a minute, I think. And I'll set this up. So this is James Comey, of all people.
Yes, James Comey.
It is. Let me just play it, and then I'll set it up later.
Potential recruit, and they used to whisper in the ear of young men, "Come to the caliphate or kill where you are in America." And we discovered the tremendous power of that voice. Well, now that voice is literal. It's the podcast that's everywhere. And so podcasters, no matter what their orientation, can whisper to troubled souls and be on their shoulder whispering a little devil all day long. And that shapes people and moves them to violence. So this is a problem, as you said, across all cultures, especially in ours.
I mean, I have to come back with the story that you're in the middle of. I mean, understanding sort of the intimacy of a podcaster or a threat. Do you think about that image in any different way in the context of how close the threats are and how easily incited people could be?
Well, it's ironic, right? Because I wrote the book last year. I didn't know what America was going to be like in May of 2025, and it is the way it is today. And so, the connection is accidental, but it does illustrate.
Yeah, that's. I just wanted to highlight. He says that podcasters can whisper in the ears of the faithful listeners out there.
And if it isn't the podcaster, it's your carefully crafted Chat GPT friend.
Nice.
It can just repeat back to you the stuff you want to hear. You're right. Hitler was a pretty decent guy.
Yeah. Anyway, this whole interview, it's his first one because he took the picture of the seashells on the beach that said 8647, and he thought it was a nice little art thing. Somebody made seashells that said 8647,
Right.
And Trump said that is a statement of assassination,
Inciting people.
yeah, and he should be. It's treason. So all of a sudden it's in the news, and he just was literally walking on the beach and saw this.
Looked nice.
Yeah. Anyway, the rest of the interview. So this is the first time he's interviewed after this little story, which was only like 2 days ago. Anyway, he says he has great faith, no matter what's going on in the world, that the judiciary is going to save the country. Because he talks about all the judges that were appointed under all the presidents, going back to Clinton. Will they go that even farther than that, maybe?
Oh, the appointment thing?
Go to
Yeah, but not Supreme Court, but all the federal judges, all the judges, right? They're mash of Republicans and Democrats, and they're not gonna let habeas corpus just, they can't just wipe that away and say everything's fine. Anyway, so it was rather encouraging. So that was my little take on that one.
Yeah.
And so thoughts about podcasters whispering. That I think maybe that's our job, Skinny.
Are we whispering?
I think we do.
No, we say it right out
we
loud.
don't. We say it right out loud, but I think we always give our opinions.
We say things like, "Here's a great moneymaker."
Yeah, I don't have a. Yeah, exactly, exactly. I don't have a belief that we sway anybody, but
Well, yeah, like I don't. Are we?
you look at Joe Rogan, for example.
Are we intending to sway people? Do you think? Guess we are.
Oh, anytime you have a conversation and give opinions, you're in essence trying to sway someone.
Yes, but we could change our mission statement, Skinny, and we could turn into that.
Well, especially now that we've
Yes.
developed the devoted following that we do have.
Exactly.
They're now
Millions.
They're now our robed puppets. Just happen to do anything.
Millions of people. Okay. Good. Okay, good. Next one. I have. Let's do the papal update.
Okay. We
Yes.
should start. You should just host the Catholic Corner. You're the only
Catholic
Catholic in the
Corner.
room, and man, there's a lot of grist in that mill.
Well, so in the Catholic corner, we went through what was the name? Pizza Balla. Pizza Ball didn't make it. But we got Leo instead.
Right, yeah.
And he's Leo. What he had some. It would have been fun if he just kept his name,
Well, what is it? Robert
Pope Bob. I can't remember.
Robert Francis Prevost.
Oh, that's not as fun as I thought.
And, of course, he's got a brother who is a mega hothead.
Really?
So that's always good,
Nice.
right?
That's always good.
Anyway, so this little article, and I just snapped on it in Politico, is 55 things you need to know about new Pope Leo the 14th. And I'm sure they say 55 because why?
Yeah, why?
He was born in 55.
Okay.
Same as me.
There you go. You could
Okay.
have been Pope if you just, put your mind to it
That's right.
and liked Catholicism.
And so there's 55. So I won't obviously go through them all, but 7 is his family attended St. Mary of Assumption Parish. So my family attended the parish. Number 8 is he sang in the choir and served as an altar boy. Mm-hmm. Just the same as me, Skinny.
Eerie.
And exactly. And then number 12 is as a kid, the Pope often played pretend priest, his older brother John told the Chicago Tribune. He would set up a table draped in white cloth and recite prayers. He did that all the time. He took it totally serious. It was not a game, John said. And I want you to know, just between you and me, I don't know if I've said this before.
No, the Matrix is starting to tremble a little here.
See that piano bench right there?
I don't want to
computer?
turn my head in case it's not there.
That's right. I used to get a lace tablecloth. I would drape it over that thing. I would get a glass chalice, and I would get a bread crust, and I would tear it into 16,
goodness.
and I put it in the little bowl, and I would do the whole thing. And I remember doing it back to the crowd. So this was pre-Vatican II for all you Catholics. I just see it as a sign. This new pope is a sign that they're trying to lure me back to the Catholic Church.
Yes, I think so.
Do you think so, guys?
Yes.
I'm just throwing that out there.
They gave all 55 reasons, knowing that for any given
It's like a horoscope.
ex-Catholic, they're going to have some in common.
Some will apply.
Right, and yeah.
And
I think it's a cry for help, Mob. Just tell us your trouble. Don't bother hoping you'll become Pope to solve it.
oh, God, I could have been a contender. Okay.
I saw a great little image. I think it was yesterday. I think the caption was "What was happening during the conclave," and then there's a picture of the new pope barbecuing, and a whole bunch of the bishops around just eating their barbecue, and he's turning the meat, and there's this white smoke coming up from the barbecue. It was really well done.
Okay, that's it for the papal update. Next is...
Papal update being a regular.
yeah, we'll have more next
We're
section, guys.
just going to be nothing but segments. Catholic Corner Papal Update.
Did I tell you about the X-Files? No,
I don't think so.
I get this email from Frank Garcia is his name. He does my demo tape. So he has access to all sorts of, he sends me stuff all the time. Anything that I'm in, he'll see it and he'll just send it to me. You want to put this in, update your demo tape. He's great. He's very reasonable. Anyway, so he sends me this thing, and it was an article, I believe, on the guy who wrote Soft Light, which was my episode of X-Files with Tony Shalhoub. Was a scientist of some sort. How many years since the X-Files? 30 years? 25 years? Maybe 25 years. Okay, maybe it's 30 years. Anyway, I think this article came up because it's an anniversary of the episode. And this guy was a writer. He was a nobody writer. And somehow he got in and he wrote this episode. And it became he's quite the writer now.
So it was like his earliest work.
Yeah, one of his earliest
mainstream.
works. Yeah. So anyway, Frank, he sends me pictures out of this book. And this book I'm describing, listeners, is called Beyond Mulder and Scully, The Mysterious Characters of the X-Files. And it also says in small letters, this book has not been authorized by any entity involved in creating the X-Files. So it's just somebody on the side just creating this thing. And Frank sends me this picture of the inside of the book. And there's this whole thing on me, which I had never seen before. We can probably put this on the website, but
That is awesome.
so I read it, and they quote me. they quote me saying things that I don't even know, but they also quote me in the same quote of things I do know about. Anyway, I just found this all fascinating, and you guys can. I'll take a picture of this so that we can put it on the website. It's kind of cool, and it looks like I was somebody back then. Anyway, so
well, I think Rich, you and I should go to ChatGPT right away and find out what all's been written about us that we don't know about.
Yeah.
She's got a whole big entry in a book about he didn't even know about.
Didn't even know about it.
That is so cool.
That is really.
I think so I ordered the book on
So
Amazon.
it's got you saying things you don't know today, but maybe they're just things you've forgotten over the years. So they're kind of like using some artistic license.
Well, no, but they could have. The guy might have. He obviously interviewed a ton of people. He might have talked to somebody who knew this story about me or one of my characters, and they just filled it out. It might have been something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so who knows? So exciting. Just about done, guys, here. Moving on. Chrome and Deb came through.
You mentioned?
Yeah, they came through
last week,
a week or two ago.
Yeah, they came in for one night on their way to the cruise, and then came back a week later for one night on their way home from the cruise.
Cruise was up to Alaska?
Up to Alaska, yes.
Nice.
And I think the cruise was a disaster.
In what way?
They were underneath the main kitchen.
Oh.
A kitchen that runs 24 hours a day. And it was unbearable. Now, Cromer said Glacier Bay or something, spectacular what they saw. And
I've never heard that before about anybody who's been on a cruise ship. I've never heard that. I don't doubt it or anything. Of all the people I've talked to who've been on cruises, I've never heard of one who said, whatever you do, don't get a cabin directly underneath the kitchen, because...
Well, is this a mainstream cruise company?
Oh, there's 1,600 people on the boat. It's a big, it's Holland, America, I think.
It's a busy kitchen.
That's insane. You would think they would just simply close the room off, turn it into an office, do something with it.
You would think. And so they offered them $200.
A full refund would be...
Well, no, they figures that they would get a free cruise out of it.
They should.
So we'll see how that plays out, because I'm thinking, I don't know. So that was them. And art update, I finished the watercolor of Chrome.
Oh, that's great.
And of course, I got to say, I'm not crazy pleased about the...
Not happy with it.
Not in the end, but Cromer was. And that's all that counts. I can send you a photo.
Okay. Yes, please. Well, I was going to say, because it's related to something you just said, I had an Airbnb in Ottawa, and it was classic, like clump, 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 clump above you. And of course, they get up at 6 a.m. And I could tell that there was nothing unreasonable about the people up there. They're just early risers. It was just the nature of the place. So I didn't even feel, I was still going to give the place 5 stars, just put in my review that it's going to be noisy. And then we go out, the tournament's over for the night, so we get home at 1:30 a.m. That's not uncommon in a foosball tournament. And so we punch the numbers to unlock the outer door, and we go to the inner door that's going to let us into the laundry room, because that's on the way to our apartment, and it's locked. So now we can't get in our apartment at 1:30 in the morning. Called the lady on the emergency number, no answer. And so we were just kind of stuck. So we actually went and banged on the door of the people on the main floor, which was also an Airbnb. And they're like looking fearfully at us. Like, who's out at 1:30 in the morning banging on your door? And anyway, they let us in.
You still give them 5 stars?
No.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah. So as I said, having people walking around above us wasn't enough to give them... to knock down
absolutely.
the rating. Yeah.
That's okay, but locking you out at 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, I called her, she never answered. I sent her a message saying, I've called you, but you haven't answered. Here's our situation. And then half an hour later, after we bang on the door, we actually persuade them to come and unlock it, that we are guests down in the basement.
Yeah.
Then I sent her a note saying no need to call in the morning, because I didn't want her to call and wake me up at the wrong time either. And then she didn't send me a note at all saying, oh, sorry about your situation. Nothing like that.
Oh, 0.
And she had her auto thing came out at a certain hour saying, hope you enjoyed your stay.
0.
Yeah, no, I give her 3 stars.
I wouldn't even give her 3.
Because I really
Face
liked,
the music, for God's sakes.
I really liked her explanation of how to do stuff.
Yeah.
Is usually weak. Like, people are not good instructions writer.
Sure.
So anyway,
Did it say don't come home after midnight anywhere?
I liked everything about the stay, and we dealt with the problem, and it was solved within half an hour. So anyway, there you go. I don't even know if we'll keep that in. KJ, what do you got for us next?
My children. So Lucy.
Oh, hang on. Theme music. KJ's Children Report.
Lucy comes back for a callback for an audition for Little Women that is the Christmas show at the Arts Club. Ooh. I think on the Stanley, and I think she's reading for Joe, the lead girl. So she comes back for an in-person callback for that, but also to see Dad in West Side Story. Da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-da-da-da-da. And day before yesterday, she has a Zoom interview for an executive producer assistant for something, and she gets the job. She starts tomorrow, and it's MGM, and it's a horror, and they're going to do at least 2 of them, and it's big schnizzle.
Great for a career, right?
Yes. And the lady, the executive producer who interviewed her, obviously, sort of made it clear that she wasn't going to be standing around getting coffee.
She's going to do real work.
She's going to actually, she said, I expect intelligence, or I'm looking for intelligence.
So assistant to the executive producer?
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's big.
Holy smokes.
And so she said she would be, one of her key jobs will be to go over contracts in detail so that the executive producer doesn't have to check things. And I'm sure her course in Toronto that she took at the Canadian Film Center, I'm sure she sort of knows all that shit. So good for Lucy, although she's moving back, and of course she's sublet her place in the West End, and so
she goes. Where's she going for this production?
Here, it's here.
Oh yeah,
and she starts tomorrow. And last night she didn't even know where. I don't even think they knew where their offices were exactly.
Yeah,
I think it's probably going to be at like one of the big studios, like Vancouver Film Studio or.
Oh man.
Anyway, so that's good for her.
Totally.
And so, and my other offspring, Dylan, who is out of studio for the summer, got an agent or had a meeting with an agent, and same agent as Susan and other people that I know. And so I think they just went for coffee. And at the end of the interview, he says, so do you play any sports? And Dylan says, oh, yeah, I play, baseball, hockey. Hockey, he says. So out of that, I guess he got the agent, and he got an audition because there's a new series going on, kind of a college hockey team kind of series, American, probably. I think it's sort of higher profile than Hallmark, but it's about the love story. But, there's language in it and everything. He got an audition for a recurring character.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Hanson brother. He'll be one of the Hanson brothers.
Yeah. And a bad guy, actually, and he was quite excited about being a bad guy. So anyway, he should, if there was any interest, I think he probably would have heard yesterday, but it could be, they could be. But the other thing is that he's a hockey player, and I think you can tell by the audition that he can act somehow. Mm-hmm. And so he might just get thrown in the mix if they need something smaller or anyway. So that's the update there. And the last one is West Side Story, of course. And it's been quite the little romp, let me tell you. Ta-ta-ta-ta-ta.
All successful?
Oh, mostly successful, yeah. Except that, it's about wishing that you were 22 and could still do all the things, and almost 70, and I can't date the 25-year-old, that sort of. Mm-hmm. So I missed, because I was in Oliver on stage, as I often am, I missed the read-through of West Side Story. So that's where you meet everybody, right, for the first time, and you also have to read your part out loud, so they actually see you sort of doing something. So I miss that, and it's a really large social initiation kind of thing that I missed, and I think I've suffered. I mean, it's on me too. I can get out there and, talk to people, but I'm not really that kind of guy. And so I'm socially backstage because I have a small part, so I'm backstage a lot. I kind of just starting to build up now.
Sounds like the edges of an anxiety dream. I'm backstage for this part, and I'm starting to wonder if I've come to the wrong place. This isn't my play at all.
I don't seem to know anybody. They're not making eye contact. Yeah. What's going on? But I did hear things like the producers expected 90% houses, and the houses have been really quite decent, really decent, but not like 90% over the whole run, So
Right, yeah.
We'll see how that all works out. But no, good experience.
Excellent.
Good. Nice review there.
And that's the end of my. That's the end of KJ's weekend updates.
Well, your weekend's a lot bigger than mine. That's for sure. Way to go! Whoa.
Thanks for listening, listeners.
I want to do my Wicked review. Yeah, so was it episode 198?
Yeah.
We had Bailey of Vancouver here, PJ's daughter, and she mentioned how great Wicked was. And I had Amazon Prime. I do once a year or twice a year. We do 1 month free. I had about 18 hours left on Amazon Prime, and I go, oh, Wicked's on Prime. I better watch that. What a great movie. I just totally enjoyed it. Thought it was fantastic, and took a few notes because I know you guys want to hear. I mean, I think it's the kind of thing that appeals to me. I read The Wizard of Oz as a child. Mom would go to the library, I don't know, every week or two, and it was always a highlight for me. I'd go with her, and she'd head off to whatever she's doing. I'd go straight to the books by L. Frank Baum. And I was always excited. Oh, here's the next one, right? Like, I'd grab the next book, read them in order, start reading it right there in the library until Mom was ready to go home. Just loved them. Read the opening. His introduction was all about, I've had lots of letters from you kids about blah, blah, blah. And he'd, I was just immersed. I loved it.
Was Wizard of Oz a series of books?
Yes. Second one's called The Land of Oz, and there's like The World of Oz, Glinda of Oz, and, all these Oz books, all probably written to pretty well the same level of quality as the first one, generally.
And the first one is what we know.
Yeah, what he called The Wonderful Wizard of Oz was the name of the book. Later editions, they just shortened it to match the movie's title.
Okay.
But
okay.
Yeah. So
fascinating.
The illustrations in that book series are fantastic. So I'm into that kind of stuff. The movie's evocative of Harry Potter style movies. I loved those movies. They weren't just there for the kids. I just loved them. And so, yeah, they're not copying from Harry Potter, but yes, it has a feel like that. Why? Because the two main characters are going to their first year of university. Potter is the first year of senior high school or something. This is university, but there's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I think the Potter world is senior high. Sorry, it took me all that time to catch up with.
Yeah. And my first note here says it's a visual feast. I'm thinking that must be some kind of a trope
cliche.
Cliche. That's it. It's a cliche. But anyway, it's just beautiful to look at. Like, just phenomenally. I mean, they won the Oscar for production design. That includes set design. You gotta just love looking at it. There's a huge amount of CGI involved, but all super realistic. It's hard for you to say, oh, look at that talking donkey there. That's, these day and age, man, it just looks real. But I learned today, I was reading through the Wikipedia article, they planted 9 million tulips in the UK in a field with all the colors forming a rainbow. And that was part of the set. It probably only showed up for 3 seconds or something, just a scene, just looking at the beautiful landscape. Then they took those 9 million tulips, some of them, and put them on all the Munchkin roofs, and the tulips would be all animated on the roofs. Like, just phenomenal stuff.
9 million is a big number.
I know. And when the movie, when I learned that its budget was 150 million, or it took 150 million to make, I thought that's not very much.
No,
really.
It isn't, because we've talked in here before about movies with $1 billion budget.
Yeah.
billion. In here, we've talked about that. 150 million is
Yeah. And
chump change.
It made 750 million in its first, I don't know, whatever, month or something like
First
that.
hour.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what the last movie I watched that I would fairly describe as a visual feast might have been. It's funny about that. Like I don't know how many movies I've watched that won the Academy Award for best
Art design.
Art design, yeah.
This one, best costume design as well. So the costumes are all just great.
I think I'm just not very attuned to that.
Well,
just
you
don't
might
notice.
call Ripley a visual feast.
Yes, totally.
Yes. It's funny about that.
Ripley's just beautiful to look at. Roma is as well, another black and white movie.
I think I just take it for granted.
So there now, we hope that you're prepped to go back and resume facing all the craziness that awaits outside the shed. The traffic, the politics, the prices, the people. It just goes on, an unending onslaught of other things that aren't us. But don't worry, we'll come back. We'll be back here. You talk to us later. We love you no matter what, except for if you don't love us. Take care of yourselves, and we will look forward to talking to you again soon.